everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, it's too scary.
And welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast that is hosted by Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I am the other host, Paul. And as you probably noticed, we are joined, I would probably say, a coven of ladies this evening.
Oh my God. I am not alone.
Yes, it's me that's the odd one out tonight. But yes, so we have got a lovely, put my teeth back in. We have got a lot of lovely members with us. We've got the lovely Peaches and Scream. We've got the other Peaches, which is Sarah. So we're going to be calling her Sarah now. She's looking all spooky and
No,
stuff.
she's scary.
Scare us tonight.
Scare.
Sorry. I've got the amazing Sonia, and like normally she's playing the scary games, so she'll be telling us all about them. And finally, last but not least, we've got the amazing Phoenix Spider, and she is looking all spooky and scary tonight as well. So yes, today is our very special day. We do this once a year. It's been okay previously, so it's always went well, I guess. We are doing our Halloween special where we tell ghost stories and try and spook each other and find out some might be true, some might be made up, and some might be local history as well. So it's going to be quite entertaining. So yes, Sammy.
It's going to be something.
It's
going to be something. Absolutely something. So I tell you what, I'll get the disclaimer out of the way with. And then we'll just crack into all this spookiness because I'm excited because I have nothing this year. Nothing's happened. So everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us in the Facebook group, the Discord, or the comment section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
There, well
Thank
done.
No lawsuits.
And just to say as well, you've already got a nickname in the chat. You're all called the Coven Chicks, apparently. So yes.
Oh, I like it.
So the main question to start us off with is, I think it'd be quite a decent question to ask, is do you believe in ghosts? So
Yeah.
so we'll go to Sonia first because I know she's the disbeliever with us.
Thanks, Paul. I am quite the skeptic, but I'm a skeptic who admits there are things I can't explain, and those things do fascinate me. But I'm not one of these that's massively kind of like, oh, I definitely have seen a ghost, because I don't know if that is what I've seen. I think you're similar, Paul. So yeah,
very much so. It's one of those where I want to believe, but I've not seen enough or had enough stuff to believe in the thing. But I always think it's quite good, like when we do ghost talks or these type of chats, to get the odd skeptic. And I know Graham was on last year, and he had some good questions and good points of view as well. So that was quite interesting. So what about you, Phoenix Spider? Are you a believer?
So I am a believer. However, I do believe that 95% of the time, these hauntings and things like that are explainable. I do believe in the science, but I like to believe there's a little bit of magic in the world that we just don't know about.
Right.
Okay. So that's my view. Is 99% of it is rubbish, but that 5% is real.
Very good. What about you, Sarah? Or Scara, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm somewhere near you and Sonia, Paul, because I'm kind of, as I put it, I'm on the fence about the whole thing, but my legs are dangling over the believer side.
Right.
I just want that little bit more evidence. It's a I want to believe type of thing. Think of like X-Files going, I want to believe.
So you're Scully, are you? The one that's like teetering on the edge and keep looking for the evidence and seeing it. Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'll eventually get to the believing side of it, but
Is that just when you start mounting David Duchovny or anything like that?
Yeah, why not?
Hang on.
Why not?
The truth is out. Sorry, I was going to say something really inappropriate there.
Makes a change from me starting that, yes. What about you, Peaches?
Oh, come on. I am the fucking ghost. Actually, I think my house is haunted. There's things, I do bring a lot of antiques and stuff home. So, well, Sammy, you know, you saw... that was one of the things. Yeah, so little things. Actually, one of the paintings that I think I brought something back with, it's an antique. You cannot see it, but it's behind us. It's this big oval frame. And since I brought that back, it was the night of or the night after. I'll tell you, I'll get to that one. But yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. The last podcast that we did with Peaches was to promote the makeup
workshop. Yeah.
The workshop you were doing. And partway through the podcast, something just went from one side of the screen to the other, and my eyes just followed it going across, just very slowly going across. And I told her afterwards, and I wish I never did. I think I spooked her.
You did at first, you know, but I mean, I don't know, like there's just loads of different things.
It was just so slow moving, just going. And if you really watch it back, you do see my eyes just following this thing going across. But yeah,
I just had a cold shiver.
Yeah, that was
that's what happened to.
Was it like was it like shadowy, or was it like an actual like? Could you see the shape?
I could just see a shape, just something. It's like it wasn't like you know how people say, oh, I can see orbs. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't like fast moving
or anything.
No, it just slowly went across like behind her, and I was like, hello, what are you? But I kept my mouth shut while we were recording until we finished.
Just spooked it afterwards type thing.
That teacup is amazing.
Oh, I've got like a full-on teapot. Hang on, I'll have to show you.
Link me to everything, okay?
It's like it's I don't know if you can see because it's in the frame.
Oh wow!
It's got a little bat on it, and I'm not usually this extra on a fucking. Is it Sunday day?
It is Sunday. Yes.
I'm not usually this extra on a Sunday, but I thought for yous I would be.
Oh, look at her! She's so kind.
Let's be honest, you are extra every single day there. So, Sammy, what about you? Do you believe in things that go bump in the night?
I am halfway in the yes section and halfway in the no section. I am convinced I saw my husband's grandmother. Never met the woman before in my life. Absolutely convinced I saw her sitting in his mother's living room. But that is my only experience I have ever had. And I say the story because I've said it on maybe the last one we did and maybe the first one we did. So I'm half yes, half no. Half because I've watched Most Haunted.
Right.
Half of it's full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's explainable. Yeah. But yeah, I'm half yes, half no. I want to really believe so badly.
But that's like coming on to that as well, because I know we're going to talk about like ghost stories and things that we've heard or things that we might have seen in the past or even recently. But that does give us a good starting point there, Sammy, though. Who was a fan of Most Haunted?
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what? I loved it.
Yes.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. I still watch it.
To this day, I still quote Mary Loves Dick on a regular basis.
There's been some like interesting ones recently, like the ones that weren't shown on Living, so they're quite up like the last few years. And they did an amazing one at Eden Camp. Has anyone been or heard of Eden Camp? It's a World War II recreated museum. And there is some spooky shit that went on there that is like, even I was starting to get convinced there's no way they could have set that up. And that's saying something when I've seen some of the shit that they can come out with. But there's been some more interesting ones. I mean, that house that they did with the, the whole knife throwing and shit, that was absolute bullshit.
But that's the thing, when it started off, it was very simple, and like you used to have like the psychics on, you used to get like Derek Acora and stuff.
I've seen him live.
But the interesting things that used to happen throughout them episodes was people that where you used to get or they used to get excited for orbs, or if they got a cold or heard a quick noise or a tapping and stuff, to as you said, to season 20 or 19, where knives were getting thrown at them and knives were getting left in pillows and stuff like that. So they went from Paranormal Activity to an entertainment show, and I think they used to have to do a disclaimer before or after and say that this is entertainment and things have been manipulated for entertainment purposes. Even though I think it was Edith and a fella, whatever he was called, I've forgotten his name now, used to go on like all
Oh, Carl.
the all the
Carl
TV
Beaton.
shows and say
Yvette and Carl.
yeah, where they didn't want to put that disclaimer on, but the studios made them do it and stuff like that.
They don't have to now because everything's distributed through their YouTube channel, so they don't have to put the disclaimer up anymore. But she's wrote really, I don't know if the literature is any good, but she's wrote ghost stories and kids books and that, and she's made a living off it. So
Yeah.
hats to it. What about Ghost Adventures though with Zach Bacon's?
Oh God,
Oh,
I
love
can I just say
that.
I love Ghost
I
Adventures.
hate that man
I
so
love
much.
I call it Ghost Jocks.
Yeah.
I absolutely love watching it.
Oh,
Purely
that man does
entertainment. I
my-
don't believe a thing that's on that show.
Oh, it's
But it's just pure entertainment.
It's so dramatic. I just love like when they'll hear a bang and they're all like, "What was that?
What was that?
It's like
It's the-
it's like Zach's like, "Come on then, Ghost Salavia," and the other two are like, "No,
he's
no,
such
no."
a dick. I honestly cannot stand the man. I actually didn't mind watching it and thought because they did go to some like historical places, it was quite interesting. But when they capitalized off a gruesome fucking murder that happened to two of their friends, fuck that. They capitalized off that so badly. They can go and jump in the fucking sea. I didn't know he was actually in a relationship with Holly Madison from the Playboy House. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. But Zach Bagans, get him.
So I haven't watched either of those, but what I do watch is the Ghost Files on the Watcher YouTube channel, which is really good. And so Ryan's a believer and Sean's a skeptic, and they go to historic places, and you do get to learn about it. And they've got all the machines and gadgets, and like Ryan's there, like, yes, I think. Oh my God, did they just speak to me? And Sean's like, no, they didn't.
No. So it's not like Zach Bagans who would go, yes, absolutely, this is 100%. Did anyone watch the Demon House documentary he did?
Yeah, I like that, you know.
Yeah, that was all right, but the fact that he was like, I am totally and utterly blind because of this experience. I now have to wear tinted glasses because this demon took my sight. Fuck off.
Oh,
No,
wow.
he didn't, Zach. No, Peaches, I'm sorry, but the documentary was okay for the side where he's not involved. So that's where the actual the whole thing started. But when he got involved, it was like, oh, you are just taking this for a ride and it is not fun.
Yeah, do you know, when was that out again? Because
it was a few years ago.
I thought it was longer than that. I think that, I don't know, I feel like it was longer.
No, it was only a few years ago, where he purchased the Demon House, because that's what Zach does with his money. He purchases it. He's just, if you see any murderabilia, he's gonna have it. He'll buy it, and put it in his fucking museum. Oh, sorry, I can go off on a tangent on Zach Bagans forever. I apologize in advance.
No, it's fine.
I know you're sorting settings out. Are you all good?
Hopefully it'll be working. I don't know why it was playing up, but they're saying it's keep freezing so often, but I don't know if it's YouTube or my internet thing. But
mine keeps doing something. See, the ghosts.
The ghosts are coming out.
The ghosts. It couldn't happen at a better time.
It's the ghost in the system.
Oh my God, that's an X-Files episode, isn't it?
Ghost in the Machine.
Oh,
That's an anime.
I think there was an X-File episode called that as well, I think.
Oh, excellent. Shall we crack into some ghosty stories?
Yeah.
So who wants to go first with some personal stories or like what you've experienced? So well, everyone looks like so Phoenix, I'll jump on you first and say well, not literally, but
well,
well,
didn't realize that was happening this Sunday.
But this is scary.
Sorry, I'm a nice guy. Yes, have you got any scary or interesting tales to tell?
I have actually seen a ghost.
Oh,
Yes.
Now, this was when I was a little girl, so I was somewhere between the age of 4 and 6. And for whatever reason, I couldn't sleep that night. And this was a rare occasion that my mum was like, fine, you can sleep in my bed.
Right.
So I snuggled up in bed with my mum, fell asleep. And partway through the night, I thought I could feel something sitting on my chest. So I woke up thinking that it was going to be my dog, because one time the dog had Mum had accidentally forgot to shut the dog away for the night, and the dog had joined us in the bedroom. So I just automatically assumed it was our dog Samba. And so I woke up expecting to see this black dog on my chest.
All right.
And I didn't, but I could still feel this thing on my chest. Like I could feel all 4 paws. And then suddenly I felt it jump off. And I could hear the paws, the sound of the dog moving around the bed. So I was questioning myself. I was like, did I just not see her? Did she move so quick that I just didn't see her in time? So with my eyes, I'm following the sound around the room. And as I got to the right-hand side, I saw this woman. And she walked across the room.
All right.
Stopped, looked at me, and disappeared.
Ooh.
I just got goosebumps there as well. Someone just walked over my grave.
I've just gone cold inside.
Yeah.
Now, the cynics will say, well, it was probably sleep paralysis.
I was just about to ask if you've got sleep paralysis.
I have experienced sleep paralysis. And what I would say
thing
is when you have sleep paralysis, you literally can't move. I could move, at least to my memory, I can move. Because like I said, I had to listen and I watched the noise move around, and I had to turn my head and sit up slightly to see past my mum, to see this woman. So I could move, which means I was not paralyzed. So was it sleep paralysis or was it a ghost?
Dun, dun, dun.
I've had sleep paralysis once, and it wasn't that long ago, and it was the most terrifying thing I have ever been through. So I could, if you say you could move, I don't think it would be sleep paralysis, because I physically could not. I was totally aware of everything around us. I just couldn't move.
Yeah,
and it was awful.
I've had it once before, and I could move, but mine was hallucination. Like I woke up on the couch and I could see spiders crawling all over the cushion, and it took me a few minutes to realize they weren't there. And I was like, this must be sleep paralysis. And then I got up. So
I get night terrors. Even at 40-year-old, I still get night terrors. And my main one is black spiders but it's red dots. It's the red dots I can see. And it reminds us of the sentinel things from Matrix.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe it, is how it actually looks. But also a little boy in a flat cap.
All right.
With a little waistcoat on. That's another thing that I can see as well. And yeah, still 40-year-olds still get night terrors. Crazy.
Wow.
It should have been knocked out of us when I was a child, but apparently not.
Yeah.
So have you had
Black Cat Boy.
So after seeing the ghost, have you had any other experiences since then, or like?
So another time I think I've seen a ghost was actually when I went round Tamworth Castle.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, and so we'd we're doing the tour, and I'd just been brought up by the lovely lady, and she was like, yes, try on all these Elizabethan clothing, and dressed me up as like Queen Elizabeth I. And I was like, ooh,
that sounds amazing, I've got to say.
It was. And they were like, look how small these clothes were, because they fit on a child, and this was meant for an adult. And you're like, ooh, they were very small back then. And then I think now bear in mind, this was a very long time ago. I was, for some reason, in a room. I think maybe I was getting back undressed, I don't know, but I was in the room on my own, and I saw a woman walk in the Tudor clothing. And at first, I just thought that she was, someone there for the act. And then she just disappeared. Now, was I hallucinating? Did a woman actually come in and then I just didn't see her leave? Who knows? But
no, it was ghosts.
It was definitely ghosts.
It was ghosts.
I do have dreams about people who are no longer with us, and even pets that are no longer with us. And again, I've felt them moving on the bed or on top of my body.
Yeah, that's another one.
I've had one with my grandfather, where I know he died, when was it, January 2nd, 2000. And it wasn't that long ago, it was only a few years ago, and we had a conversation where I was sat on the couch next to him and I had my phone in my hand and he's going, "What's that?" And I fully know he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, it's my mobile phone." And I said, "Oh God, you won't even know what a mobile phone is. You died in 2000." Like, and I'm like showing him my phone and everything, and I'm like catching him up on my life. And then I says, "Is me like just out of nowhere went, is my grandmother here?" And he went, "Yeah, she's if because I started at one point, I turned around and went, 'This isn't real.'" I remember saying to him, "This is not real. You are not here. I am not having this conversation with you." And then he went, "Well, if you're not having this conversation with us, then tell that to your grandmother." And she was standing right next to her, and I got a cuddle off her, and I could feel her arms around us as I woke up. But I was in tears when I woke up, because I was like, "Oh my God, it felt so real," but I knew it wasn't, and I kept telling him, this is not real. We are not having this interaction. And it was so crazy, especially when I'm telling him about my phone. Like, why so much has gone on in like how long he's been dead. And I'm like, yeah, look at my phone.
Got a bargain on this one.
Yeah, no. Check out this app.
I quite regularly have dreams about my granddad as well, and he died 3 years ago. At Christmas, yeah. And I actually had a horrible dream this week.
Oh no.
And my granddad was there. And again, I kept sort of being like, "But you're dead." He's like, "Oh, I'm not the one that's dead. It's your nan that's died." And I was like, "No, nan's still alive." And he's like, "Well, we're at her funeral." I was like, "What?" Anyway, when I met up with my mum later, she informed me that my nan's actually quite ill.
All right.
Oh God.
Sorry to hear that.
It's like, yeah, like
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We don't know what's wrong with my nan yet, so it could be one of those things. It's something of nothing. It could be something very serious. So fingers crossed for my nan, but she's in her 80s. So although Chris's theory is that nan's going to outlive us all and we'll have to put her in our will. So
yeah. They do have a tendency of doing that, don't they?
They do just keep going. So yeah.
I remember when we lost Baxter last year, I willed for ages for him to come, like just in one of my dreams. And it was only until about 6 months later he eventually did. And I was so mad at him. I was so mad. When I woke up, I was like, "It took you 6 months? Like, what have you been doing?"
Yeah, they've got to get the passports, the regulations, all the scams.
If Beetlejuice is anything to go by, it does take a while for them to get accustomed and used to the regular. And the book of what was the handbook of the
Handbook of the Dead.
Handbook of the Dead. But yes,
pets can't read.
No.
So
and Baxter definitely couldn't. Like my older cat is very smart. He was not, bless him. He was as dumb as paint. But he was lush.
The chat's saying, "I hope your nana's okay as well." So the chat's been nice to
you. Thank you. Fingers crossed.
Yes. What about you, Peaches?
Oh, here we go. Settle down, kids.
You've just reminded us, though, like obviously, well, Sammy and Paul, well, you knew my other cat called Bruce. He died in the house. I was holding him and stuff like that, and like, so he was here, but like things happened like after. And funny enough, my friend Jen, she was staying over last night for a spooky sleepover, and she said, obviously I've got a cat now called Phantom, but she said like she kept feeling a cat going past her legs, like but it wasn't Phantom's flat out on the chair. And I said, funny enough, you should say that. Like I feel like, but it's not like Phantom. It's I'm convinced it's Bruce like coming past. I'm convinced he's here, and the lights just flickered over there, and I'm not even joking.
God, I have the same thing. Like there was one day I was convinced I could hear Baxter yawn, and every look at the corner of my eye, I felt like I could see him just like going past us. And then I kind of like this is when Loki was Bruce, because I'd messaged you to say, listen, we thought we were going to call Loki, Bruce, I just want you to know. And I was sat on the bed and I'm like crying to myself over Baxter. And I says, I know he's not there. It's just me. It's just in my head. This is all in my head. And then I just went, cannot call that cat Bruce. You just cannot call that cat Bruce. He does not look like a Bruce. So we changed his name. But it came out. And the minute I had that breakdown, like that bit of cry, not had an instant since.
It's crazy. But just after he passed away, like the day after, this bedroom door actually opened, and like it's one of those, like, me doors are the ones where you've got to pull shut.
Yeah.
Like it clicks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not like one of those, yeah. And the door opened like the day after, just little things. The door opened, and like I've got, there was like interactive like Halloween decoration things that you switch on, but when you touch it or go past it, they go off. That went off, and it was switched off as well. Just little crazy things like that. I'm trying to think of other ones. Like, honestly, there's so many. And like what Phoenix was saying about the weight on the bed, like someone actually sat next to us. I'm convinced it was me nana because she passed away, but someone, I was like, like trying to fall asleep. So I was still like conscious, like present, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I was like lying on my side, like facing the window, and I felt, I'm getting literal goosebumps. I felt like a weight sit next to us, like literally. And I, like, obviously it wasn't the cat, like Bruce, because I used to shut him out my room because he used to jump on my fucking head on the mornings and wake us up. So it wasn't the cat. So it literally felt, and I was terrified. And I just remember like being like this, and I couldn't like bring myself to like, come round and wake up while I was awake, but like sit up sort of thing. And I slept with the lights on after that. But then after that, like my mum took ill like a couple of days later. And then obviously before she passed away and stuff like that. Honestly, just like crazy shit like that. And like, yeah, some people might think, oh, it's it's this or that. And like I remember in like, I think it was like 2:00 in the morning or something, some crazy hour, and there was a couple of people still online, and I was like, I'm scared. Like, I was legitimately terrified, which is quite ironic, really. But I was legit terrified, and they were like, oh, it's probably just the cat. I was like, no, he's shut out of the room. So yeah, that was another one, and that just kind of reminded us of that story, what you told were. I've got loads, honestly, but I don't want to take over. Like,
no, you're all right.
It's not taking over. It's just like, say, that's what we want to hear and stuff as well. Because I know me and Sammy's told our stories over the last 2 years. Like, I've talked about like adventures in Cherry Knoll Hospital or the mental asylum as a kid.
Do you know what still freaks me out to this day? Goldfish.
Goldfish.
After what you told us about the goldfish, I can't look at goldfish the same way again.
Oh my god,
they really freak me out. I didn't realize that they grow to their surroundings. So in my head, when you're talking about these goldfish, I've got like big, massive fucking goldfish.
Yeah, they're about that big. Like
that's a fucking goldfish.
Because for people who don't know like the story, basically there used to be an old mental asylum up next to where I used to grow up. It was being closed down for many years, but it used to house the criminally insane as well, because so they had padded rooms and everything like that. So as a kid, it was always fun when, like, say, to go on adventures and break in, and there was a swimming pool in, and some of the security guards, because they had to be manned 24/7, but the security guards had put some goldfish in the swimming pool, and they're grown to like ginormous size because of the surroundings they're in. But that was probably the spookiest place I've ever been in my life. Like, didn't actually see anything. It was more noises and hearing stuff and just having like atmospheres around.
Is it the one I know about? Like, do I know about this place? Yeah, I was going to say, it's because I work there now, you know.
Oh no, there was always three.
I know they've knocked down the main building, but like that, most of my spooky.
Do I know about this place?
Well, I was like, did you grow up in like London or something? And I just don't know.
No, there's three places. There was three different areas. There was the general hospital that they knocked down and rebuilt. That was the old prisoner war camp. Yeah. That was originally there. I know it's going to sound horrible, so I do apologise for using this phrase, but that's what they used to call it. The suicide watch where it's still there and like it's still down the bottom that like said go down and people there. But then they had the old Victorian building where it had the big stable. That's all gone, and they've built houses on it for some reason.
I know, such a shame.
But well, they had to knock it down because of the asbestos that was through. It was going to kill people. But literally, and the way I would describe it is like all the surrounding area was basically in like farmland and grass green area. There's the Dean, but around the old building, it was just dead grass, dead earth. Like nothing would grow around it, so it was quite like eerie when you went in. And when we broke in, literally you could go in the padded cells because the padded cells and the tables where people used to get strapped on were still there. They had people like the filing cabinets where people's folders and everything was just spewed all over the floor because they'd never been cleaned out properly. And like as the story goes, there's tunnels underneath it, underneath the complex where instead of walking from one building to the other, you used to go in the tunnels to get to the buildings. And what they used to say, I don't know how true it is, because living in local villages and little areas, they used to always tell you like stories. So people who died because they used to experiment on people, they didn't want to bury them because the families didn't want anything to do with them. They were buried underground in them tunnels.
Fuck off. No.
Yes.
I do remember, like, if we were naughty, that's where we were going.
I genuinely could believe that because the amount of stories I've heard about, what was it? It's quite a famous Catholic sort of orphanage, and or for I think it was like for unwedded mothers as well. And they basically just, there were so many children that just weren't registered, and they just used to bury them in the back.
Oh my God.
When it all came up, they exhumed everything and tried to do their best to be able to let any living family know about the bodies. And it was absolutely
good. I mean,
a Catholic orphanage.
Not great that they got there in the first place, but good that they kind of like try to put something right with that.
They're still doing it now.
But I love all the stories that we used to come up with and like get told as a kid. Like you used to always almost like getting told about the bogeyman. You'll go to Cherry Knoll Hospital, but like I've never experienced feeling
and
like
I was going.
But
I'm stuck there.
The weird thing
is this why you play your horror video games?
Yeah, this is like my downtime.
But the weird thing is now when we go and talk about these things like to my parents and stuff, because they grew up in the same village that like I grew up in, they've like never lived, like living in Ripe. It's an old mining village as well. So the old mental asylum part, they used to have like 3 different bits. They used to have the wards where the people used to get kept. You used to have the chapel, like proper church bit, and then the community areas. And what they thought was a good idea for kids, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. I'm laughing now. To build the community spirit, they had cinema days on a weekend, and they used to have in the community bit near the mental asylum kids coming up to watch movies with the patients.
Okay.
And
I like that. I think I can see how that would be really restorative, but that's just me being like,
it's like as long as they were with the safe lunatics.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like they do some of the things now that they're always going to ensure that it's safeguarded. So it's only going to be the people who are allowed. But what I do know about that site is that there was a pub that people who were allowed to leave were allowed to go to, but also the local residents. So a lot of people from Riot will have drank in, and I think obviously really like non-PC, but they used to call it like the Looney Bar.
Yeah.
But you could just go and have a pint with people who were staying the night because that's where they were staying. Like it was fascinating. It really was like a little community back in the day. It's totally different now, obviously.
Oh no, but it's amazing how that sounds bad now because I'm going to sound like a proper little criminal. As a kid, how far you could get in these buildings before the police came or before like the security even noticed you and stuff like that.
I love the idea of you just like sneaking around,
scurrying around.
I've been here for a few days. I've not even noticed.
But that's why they had to pull it down because people would keep setting fires to it, and then like local people who like the homeless people were going there and living in there and stuff like that. There was a lot of bad elements, but like as a kid, it was like the best adventure in the world. All you had to do was pull out a few nails out of like where the window was boarded up, and you were like running around it like a mental asylum, thinking like thinking you were like as you were doing now, playing the mortuary's assistant or Phantasmophobia, but in real life, and hearing
you
these.
just imagine if that building was still open, we could go and do like a live session of Phantasmophobia inside of it. That'd have been amazing. I'd have been well up for that.
I
was going to say,
I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. I
I'd
like
do
watching
it.
these like abandoned places clips on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why can I never find those places? And then I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
probably do. I'm just too scared of like druggies in there.
It's just a very different time now from when we grew up.
I do
And
think
the
it's funny though,
most I did-
because you know, like, because during the 90s it was huge doing like all these paranormal teams that went out and done ghost
Yeah.
walks and ghost talks and stuff. Cherry Knoll Hospital was one of the main places that turned people down. They refused to have
Oh,
anyone in there.
really?
They wouldn't allow it. They said it was for safety reasons, but again, there's a lot of history and stuff there. But like, I always remember as a kid, like, I think I've even got old pictures on my Facebook. I'll try and drag them out and put them on the group. That nothing grew around that building though, because it was just weird the way it was described. But
Crazy.
like I said, that's probably my like mini adventures. Has anyone had any bad experiences like with ghosts, other than like say, because like I'm loving the stories where you're saying meeting your grandparents and stuff like that. But has anyone had any ones where you felt unsafe, shall we say?
I have.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if they're true. Mine are probably just explainable. But when I was a kid, I did a lot of Ouija boards, a lot.
Same.
Yeah, like
them. My mom. Yep.
Yeah, my mum was like, "You're just an idiot," but my dad, who was like the biggest skeptic I knew, was like really angry. Like he used to get so angry. But yeah, I had a few sort of things that were said, and again, could have just been the people I was doing it with that were making it say that. So I don't know if there's any truth to that. But on one occasion, I did do one, and it said something like run or hide or something, and then there was like a massive clatter by the front door, and I ran to the front door and there was like a pile of umbrellas that are just like they were like golf umbrellas, they just all fell on the floor. And I was like, oh, the cattle have probably knocked them. And my friend was like, I need to get out, this is too much. And she ran to the back door, opened the back door, and my cat ran in. And we were like, okay, so it wasn't the cat. And then we went out the front. And when I went out the front, my dad was walking down the road. And I was like, if my dad had caught us doing this, I would have been like so fucking grounded.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if the ghost was telling me to run because my dad's coming
Your dad was
home.
coming
Yeah, like,
back.
was it warning us?
They were warning you. I used to do them as a kid, but it was like ones where we just rip them down, and it's like, and use a penny to like for the
yeah
thingy.
We used to use a glass.
Yeah, we used a penny because the idea.
Sorry, my cat is no.
You just scared the shit out of us.
sorry, it's because he's no, he's
just no.
no.
Phantom, no. We used to use that, and so my friend would say, if we set the paper on fire afterwards and bury the penny, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, you burn the bad spirits.
Yeah, it's all gone. So we
did that. The next plane, they moved on.
Yeah,
my mum
you have to say goodbye. If you don't say goodbye, they're going to come back.
They're going to come back and get you, and then you burn the piece of paper and you bury the penny. And my mum must have hundreds of pennies buried outside of her front garden. She would fucking kill me if she knew. Even at 40, she's like, don't mess with shit like that, Sam. You just don't.
Even as a raging golf, I won't even have a Ouija board in the house because of the experiences and stories like that you have said. Like, there's just, I've got like a Ouija board cushion. That's about it. And I'm like still a bit like, yeah. And like
mine's like the main centerpiece of my dressing table because it was the main centerpiece for my wedding.
Oh, I love that.
It was a Ouija board and a what's it called? What's the
pentagram?
The pentagram that you push.
Oh, the patella.
No.
Patella?
Yeah?
That's a different thing. I don't know.
What's it called? Pendulum. No.
Panchet. That's it. Yes.
That's it. Thank you, Peaches. But yes,
I've
got that is the centerpiece of my cupboard because it was my centerpiece of my wedding table. So yes, that me when I did the the karma reading, if you can remember Peaches, what she told
Oh my
us.
God, yes. We need to do that
Yes.
again.
Yes, absolutely need to see Mel again. She's so lovely. She helped me out a bit when Baxter passed away. But yeah, she told us that I needed to stop looking and facing the Ouija board. It wasn't good for us. And I do yoga, and I face the Ouija board to do yoga, and I struggle. So now she says, you've got such a light side and a dark side, and it's like, yes, because the side I face to do yoga has all of my wedding stuff on, which is all like, you know, Halloweeny, but the other side has all my crystals on, and she told us I need to start facing that way. So yeah, crazy.
Wow.
That was a good day, that.
That was such a good day.
I do enjoy a good market and a good tarot reading.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
So Phoenix, you said you'd had a bad experience.
So it wasn't anything dramatic, but it certainly scared the crap out of me.
Right.
So I was a teenager, so probably about 15, 16 years old, and I came home, and of course, you know, school ends a lot earlier than the workday does.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the house on my own with the dog. And in the old house, you used to be able to look through the French windows, or the French screen, from the living room. So you'd be able to look through the dining room into the garden. And we had a table there in the garden. And I swear to God, I saw a pair of legs, not a body, just a pair of legs. And I could see it walk from one end of the table to the other end of the table, and there was no body above it.
No.
And it scared the crap out of me.
No.
So I got my dog, Cassie, bless her heart. And first of all, we did the obvious thing. We searched the house together. And she's just like going, "What's going on? I'm not meant to be
Gotta
here."
love dogs' energy, man.
So yeah, so, you know, I just wanted to make sure that I was safe in the house. And then we checked outside, and there was absolutely nothing, no sign, and there was no way anybody could have jumped over the wall, because the bushes the other side of the wall were all thorny, so they would have landed in that. There's no way they could have jumped over it either, because they would have had to get through the thorns. There was no footprints, there was nothing, no sign of anybody. But I swear to God, I could still picture it in my mind. I could tell you that they were wearing jeans. I could tell you that they were wearing light sneakers. There was a red stripe on the sneakers.
It's amazing when you
I mean,
actually
you could just
when you've got the terrified, when you're that scared, them things do stay
Yeah.
imprinted as well.
Yeah.
Oh, massively. But you could just see the legs and nothing else.
Yeah, no body, just legs.
That is crazy.
Wow.
Scared out of my mind.
I
And then I
instantly
was
thought
like, oh, I need to do my homework.
I instantly thought like Wicked Witch of the West vibes at first, which is why I kind of laughed a bit, because it's just in my head I'm like, just these like legs.
Just the legs, just like.
But then the more
like,
you described it, and I was like, nope, fuck this.
Stockings and the little black shoes.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
It's like under the table.
Oh, fucking legs.
I was so scared. Honestly,
I'm not surprised.
You know what though? Wait, with you saying about the tarot or the karma reading or whatever it was, that is the only experience I've ever had that to this day I still cannot explain. Again, total skeptic. It was a friend's 21st, and our mum had paid for someone to come to the house who was going to do us all an individual reading. And I was like, well, it's paid for, I'll do it. But I was a bit like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Went in, the reading was neither here nor there. I actually don't really remember what she said, to be honest. But she then said, oh, have you lost somebody recently? And like, I was thinking, I had, but I was thinking you could say that to anybody and the answer's probably going to be yes. So I said yes. And she said, I'm getting like the kind of the feeling, the energy of a woman, a very elderly woman. And it interestingly was my mum's nana who just died, my great nanny. She was 98. She was fantastic.
Amazing.
And she said there was someone waiting for her, and he'd been waiting a really long time, which again was on the money because her husband had died when she was 50 and she'd never remarried. But again, I wasn't really like responding with like, oh yeah, wow. Like I was being really quiet. I was letting, and she said, she wants me to tell you she's sending you something green and you have to keep it. You must say yes. And it was so specific. And she recorded it on a cassette for me, and I took the cassette home. And about 6 months later, my nan, so my mum's mum, was visiting, and I was playing computer games in my room, and my nan and my mum shouted me into my mum's room, and they said, "Can you come and have a look at this?" And I went in the room, and my nan had brought a box of my Nanny Daisy's things with them, and she was given what my mum wanted to keep. And my mum had took like a multicolored tablecloth and like some posh cutlery, that kind of thing. And my nan was like, "Before we give the rest to charity, is there anything in here you would want?" And it was a set of bottled green glasses and a green vase. And I was just like, "I have to take these." And my nan was like, "Why?" And I was like, I don't know why or how, but I have to take these. And I still have them. They're downstairs. I've never used them. I'm terrified to use them. But
you have to have
I
them.
have them, yeah. And,
That's
and my nan was like,
amazing.
she was like, "Do you still have the cassette?" And I said, "Yeah." And we went downstairs. I played the cassette, and my nan was like, both of us like had goosebumps, like we couldn't sleep. And my nan was like, how do you explain that? And I was like, there is no explanation for that.
That's
thing
crazy.
is, like,
I like that though.
Yeah, I mean, when I had mine, there was things that she said to me that I'd never talked about since I was a kid, and then had to go and have some very awkward conversations with my husband. So, but there was some things that like it's not, she wasn't like so specific in what she was saying, like as in this definitely happened to you, just you've had an experience and you need to talk to someone about it. And the minute I sat down, she kind of like pushed her arms in front of us and went, "You need to back up a bit." She went, "The anxiety coming off you is awful." And she made us sit back. But Mel is absolutely fantastic. But my mum's auntie, she was very much into her spiritualist guidance. But she was one of these people who didn't wait for it to happen. She made it happen.
Right.
And she left her husband and 2 kids because she was told she was destined for a new life outside of that, and she fucked off and left them.
But that's the dangerous side of things with this
Isn't
type
it?
of thing as well, because again, I'm not going to shit on anyone's beliefs or anything like that, but there's a lot of people that do play on people's insecurities and play on people's on what they want to hear as well. But you never know. Like, I know it sounds like things she might have left him anyway. It was just looking for an excuse to get out of there. It could have been, but it's always the thing. I'm sorry if you do hear a purring as well. I've got a little cat that's decided she wants to. She's hearing all the spooky stories and I think she wants to join in. But yes, what about you, Sarah? Any experiences with yourself?
My mum has a friend, and she was told by a medium that she was going to win the lottery.
All right.
Did she?
No, she got herself into debt.
Right.
Because
oh my
she
God.
started spending like she was going to win the lottery.
Yeah, my mum got told she was got told by a psychic that she was having a girl with me. Got told she was having a boy with my sister.
Well, it was close.
It's 50-50.
She was Daniel. She was Daniel right up until the day she was born, and then when she came out, they were like, "Oh, shit, we didn't have a plan B." What about Scara? We haven't heard from you. You've been so quiet.
I'm just listening to everyone's stories. I mean, I haven't had experiences personally, but like I've had I've been in the room when other people have had them. So like there was one time when my granddad was his end of life care in the hospital, he used to keep talking about the woman with no legs at the end of his bed and the cat that was on his bed. Which completely freaked me out because it was kind of like it was the middle of the day as well. Who's that woman with no legs at the end of the bed? I don't know her. Tell her to leave the room.
Was it the legs like that Phoenix was missing?
That's crazy though, but you do
that is
get
nuts.
stuff like
you
that.
Tend
like
to, when people are nearing the end of their life.
Yeah, they see they see people like past loved ones, and people say that they've come down to like get them, and I've seen like videos, like because I watch a lot of like like TikToks and YouTubes, like morticians and like people who work in hospitals and all that kind of thing, and they show like them like looking at someone and smiling and laughing and saying names and
I've
like,
heard from
it's
people who
crazy.
work in hospices that, and apparently this is true, like globally, that around 80% of people who die in care or in a hospice die with their arms outstretched as if they're reaching to someone,
Yeah,
which is just like fascinating. It really is. It's too
Yeah.
many for it to be a coincidence.
I watched one just as early as this morning. Of this, it wasn't like it was someone explained. It was someone showing. It was their mother, and she was. And I understand there was a lot of comments saying this is very personal. You shouldn't have shown this, but at the same time, I can't. I don't know. It just made me feel a bit warm. She was talking about the light, and she was saying, "I'm so at peace. I feel the light. I feel the warmth. I feel the love, and I just like, and I'm coming off the back of midnight mass where, you know,
oh
this
God,
is, I know
my heart.
exactly. And I am just I am in tears, but I felt so much comfort by that. Like I didn't feel uncomfortable watching the last moments of this person's life. It actually was comforting to see it and to hear what she was saying as well.
Yeah, I think like I'm not having experiences. I do believe in the transition of energy. Like I think energy, like with anything, energy has to go somewhere, and you can leave imprints on certain things as well. The only thing I think we talked about this last year, and like it's always an interesting thing to broach as well, is when you hear ghost stories or hear like people like that see people dressed up. It's always a Victorian person or an old age person. You never really see or hear of stories of like a child
Modern day
ghost.
chavs.
A child
Something like
ghost.
You know
trackies.
what? I was just talking about this earlier. I can't wait for the days that you start getting stories through where you see like the 90s and 2000s ghosts
Fucking
walking through going,
tracksuit
it's
bottom.
Ricky, babe.
Shell suit.
That's
YGK, baby!
They got like a flip phone that I saw them
Yeah.
pull a flip phone out.
But like that's the thing, because like now, and like sorry to say this, but like the 80s was 40 years ago, so surely
Oh, shut up.
we should be seeing 80s ghosts or even stuff like
Yeah.
that. Someone walking around with like say an afro or dressed like Michael Jackson and stuff like that. Like thriller videos all over the place would be interesting to see. But
See
that's
a guy
always
with a red jacket on, sleeves pulled up. Fuck yeah.
do you not
Raspberry Beret Prince. Like I was listening to that before. Just imagine him like flouncing around. That would be amazing.
I've been haunted by Prince. That would be a sexual awakening all over the place.
And you remember those videos that were going around though after Michael Jackson died, and there was one uploaded by a news station. They were in his house, and there was like you saw like something move across in the background.
I vaguely remember that.
That's the cameras where he was
Yes.
filming. Oh, sorry, I wasn't going to go there. Sorry.
I only found out recently what they were doing to him, like as in putting him to sleep with like that they would use for operations and shit. I was like, what the? I'm only saying that because I can't remember the name of it. Is it anesthetic?
Anesthetic, yeah.
Anesthetic, yeah. I did not know that's what they were doing. That's fucking nuts, man. No wonder it.
The problem with these drugs is you get used to them, so they give you a higher dose. You get used to a higher dose, and that's what happened. Is not only was his body basically shutting down because of it, but he was getting a higher and higher dose until basically he overdosed.
Yeah,
That's
and died.
Nuts. Sorry for a Michael Jackson tangent, but that is crazy.
Well, ghost stories. I'm sure there was like say he's done thriller Ghost as well, didn't he? Do
that ghost, that ghost one was really cool. I like that one.
But yes, but that's always been why I was always on the skeptic side, because of the stories you hear. Like if you go to Edinburgh and stuff like that, like you go to the vaults and St Mary's Close, it's an amazing experience. It's full of like energy. But you don't see any modern day people like talking about, I was walking around the street and some ghost kids or like some little shit like was swearing at you, telling you that to fuck off and stuff like that.
Yeah, fuck off, man.
And then it could be happening. It could be ghosts, but you just think they're real because they just blend in.
They blend into the norm. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good argument. That. No, you're right.
You would never know.
The 80s and 90s clothing keep coming back into fashion. So
that's true. So they could just be blending in. It'd be my luck though. The first ghost I ever saw be, yeah, fuck off, you.
You fucking goth.
Are you sweaty?
It'd be my fucking luck.
Oh God, the memories of being back at college all over again.
Actually, Paul, do you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
I've got a question that I think might be quite interesting. do you think that ghosts are eternal, or if they have a set amount of time in our realm? I'm just asking because some of the books I've been reading, like when the person's gone and asked for like witnesses, they've gone, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z. We used to see him for many, many years, but we haven't seen him for like a decade or something like that. It's as if the ghost has just stopped appearing. Or, you know, for example, sometimes if a building where a ghost was bound to has been demolished, sometimes the ghost stops appearing, or do you know what I mean? Or
I do, yeah. Like, do they have like an
do you think
expiration
they have a set
date?
amount of time on here?
I feel like sometimes they do. Like I feel like
it is, yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like a lot of the places that, you know, like really bad stuff happens. So like, you know, you talking about the like, was it an asylum? I don't want to use that word.
Yeah, no, it
was an institute.
Yeah,
it still is.
Yeah.
It's just
So,
posh
like,
now.
Yeah,
well, a hospital, we'll call it a hospital now because obviously, but back in the day it probably was like called an asylum. But places like that and like prisons and obviously castles, old buildings, things like that. Like anything that bad happened there, like I think they're kind of tied to it personally. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I know this is going to seem like a really bad analogy, but this is the only way I could probably get it right in my head. It's like a battery. The battery stores energy, and like say that's where probably spirits or like ghosts is like energy. It can only be stored for a certain length of time, and even if it's not being used, like if you use a battery, it'll run out quicker. So if a ghost,
that's such a scientific answer.
if a ghost's being active, it's using a lot of energy, and like it can't recoup that energy type thing.
Because you get that referred to in a lot of the ghost hunting programs as well. It's like try and like accumulate your energy to like create an orb or make a sound or something like that.
Oh no,
I like the idea that it's I like the idea that it's a choice, that like they need to do something or have closure before they decide to move on. I do, you know, again, if I was to die and I was offered the opportunity to be a ghost, I'd imagine the terms are you will be a ghost for this long, and then you get the decision about whether you want to move on or not.
Sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, like I feel like that's the way it would work.
So this is a question as well. Again, it's along the lines of the ghost realm. This is probably where my disbelief comes in, where when the ghost, like say, oh, it's not a ghost that's haunting this place, it's like an entity or a demon type thing. Because to start believing in that type of thing, it gets into the whole heaven and hell or God and the devil type of argument type thing. But do you think there is other beings or other type of entities that do occur, or is it just, as you said, like energies?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
I do.
Oh, come on, you know I do.
Yeah, I do. I think there's such a. I always reference the universe. When it comes down to, you know, the universe give me this, or the universe took this away from me. I do believe there is something higher. I don't believe it's a god as it per se, just something, a higher being than anything else.
I'm the same.
Yeah,
I'm agnostic. I'm not atheist. I'm not Christian.
No.
I just there's something more. And I have this debate with Coxie all the time, my partner, because he's really, really staunch atheist. Like he believes everything can be explained. And I've said to him that, like, you know, my argument is that science can't explain everything. That's why science still exists. You know, there's always going to be theorems to prove. There's always going to be room for learning. And for that reason alone, I have to be agnostic, because I have to admit that we can't ever know everything. So for the things that I don't know about are the things I need to accept I may never know about, but that means I need to have an open mind. So that's my kind of, that's where I lie with it. I can't say that there would be demons from hell, because I don't necessarily believe in hell, but I do believe you can have negative entities or you know, energy that feels bad.
It can definitely get twisted.
Yeah. And you have to question where that twist comes from. Was that who they were as a human, or is that because they're not actually from this this plane, so to speak?
And
totally agree.
And jumping on, like, say, the same type of question, because I've recently watched The Exorcist Believer last night.
Oh, fucking hell.
I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
No.
Have you seen it, Peaches?
No, it's not good.
No, it's not
Did
good.
you not like it?
The best thing about it was the end. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
I could go on a bit of a rant, but I'm not, because I don't like slagging things off, because that's the thing. But
Yeah,
it was
don't spoil it for people.
yeah.
But like, yeah, the best thing was the end.
But what about like coming on the stage, like possession and stuff? I know that's like a very hard line. Is it mental health?
The
Is
devil
this, like,
made me
people...
do it.
I think
The
it's
devil
mental health.
fucking didn't. It's mental health.
I can't not think it's mental health because I am a mental health therapist.
Say,
So like,
that's what you
I
do.
can't not. Like clinically, I can't not believe that it's mental health.
I totally agree. It's mental health. As much as possession movies are kind of one of me.
I love them.
The Exorcist is my favorite movie of all time. But I really liked the Pope's Exorcist, because at the beginning it wasn't cut and dry. He knew that man had mental health problems. But when you start a possession movie, you assume that the first thing you're going to see is an actual, genuine, bona fide possession. That's not the case at all. So I love the fact that they questioned the mental health side on that, because
I've not seen that yet. I need to see it.
It is
Sorry,
so fucking good.
It's the Russell Crowe one, right?
Yeah.
No,
No
it's
more
really
spoilers.
it doesn't spoil anything, I promise you, Peaches, but it is really good. But I do agree that mental health is the I mean, look at that. Was it Elisa? Oh gosh, the one who The Exorcist is based around, like, that was pure mental health. That was dehydration, that was torture, that was it was
a lot of them.
Yeah.
The
it was
story
horrific.
the film that's based on the true story as well, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yes.
That was a true story, and she really was having like seizures, and she had epilepsy.
I think that's who I was referring to, not The
Yeah.
Exorcist, because that was a boy, wasn't it?
I was gonna say, I was just
it was a
jump in with that
boy.
one.
Sorry, love. It was a boy for The Exorcist, and it was The Exorcism Emily Rose I'm thinking of for the girl.
Yeah, the one that went to
That's a
court.
horrific true life
Yes.
story. Like, just
Yeah.
child abuse. But talking about demons and mental health, I mean, I think demonic possessions was just how people tried to understand what mental health was. I mean, we all talk about we all have our demons, and it's certainly like when my mental health is going a bit haywire, it's like I have a voice in my head that isn't mine.
Yeah.
And so I could genuinely believe that could be another entity, another demonic being saying, do it, do it. And then saying all those horrible things about myself.
Yeah.
And I could totally believe how anybody could say, it wasn't me. The demon made me do it. It's an unconscious voice in your head. And it's a mental illness talking. But I could also understand why how you could say it was a demon.
Yeah.
But then
it's such an interesting philosophical question, because like we actually had this discussion at work the other day, us colleagues, where religion's such a funny topic with mental health, because you have to be you have to be really open-minded to the fact that there is such a fine line between having a belief and then having a belief that makes you do things that are unsafe. So like someone saying they believe in God, as a mental health therapist, you have to say, oh, that's okay, that's good that you've got belief. But if they say, I believe in God and I'm going to stop feeding my children because God will provide for them, well, actually, that's mental health, and that's dangerous. But I don't like that you have to draw that line. It feels it feels a bit blurry. Like
massively. It's such a difference between believing in faith. Because a faith with religion is kind of like my faith in God, my faith in Jesus. A belief is, I believe that this is, the rapture. I believe in all of this is going to be provided to us because of my beliefs, not my faith. It's such a fine line.
There's a lot of cases of Christians and schizophrenia. So it's okay to talk to God, but when God talks back, that's the problem.
Yeah, it's so bizarre.
When you want to start worrying,
it's so blurred.
And we have no, if God exists, we have no way of scientifically proving that he doesn't, but we do have ways of proving when someone has schizophrenia.
Psychosis is real.
It is a complete shame as well when you get people that do take advantage of people with these states. Like probably the biggest ones at the moment, and they are starting to unravel a little bit, is the Warrens. Like I know they get making, like the family's making money off the back of the Conjuring movies and stuff like that. But a lot of documentaries now are coming out. Like I think I told Sammy the Devil on Trial.
The Devil on Trial. I watched it. I've always had an opinion on the Warrens. I love the Warrens from the movies. They're awesome. Love
Yeah.
'em.
But
Fucking
real
great.
life.
Real life. Wow.
Just casually
They just
fucking spilling tea everywhere. Sorry.
well done.
Yeah, you clean
You'll
those.
get our viewership up that way, love. Keep going.
This is OnlyFans.
I know.
God.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
I'm looking away, I promise.
Sorry.
I've like totally lost my train of thought. Warrens. That's right. The Warrens were so clever in what they did. At the time of when their rising was happening, the rise of evangelical TV was happening as well. And if they thought if the Christians can capitalize on it, why can't we? And they were very good at this fucking charlatans. But yeah, the movie version of them.
Don't spoil me. Pretend. Don't spoil me fun. Like I still believe them. I still love them. But I'm just delusional as well. I'm a bit delusional anyway.
Oh, no, you're not. You're just too nice.
Yeah, I
I
think with
think,
the
you know, when you sort of listen when you listen to them, it's like they may have started out very genuine and actually genuinely out there to help people. But then when you listen to them when they actually start to get a name for themselves, that's when things start sounding shady, and they're just like, you know, they get partway through it and they just go, yeah, we're not interested anymore when helping you. Some of the cases come up and this person's still like, but I've still got problems. And you know, it's like, well, what if somebody was actually living in that person's house? And you could have gone and investigated and gone, hey, there's a man living in your house, maybe get the police involved, instead of going, yeah, we're not interested anymore. That we've heard about some other place and we want to go there now.
So I totally. Oh, sorry, Paul.
No, it's fine. It's just like with the documentary I mentioned as well, because all the way through the documentary, it's telling the story of the little boy and like what happened and how his possession. But then the last episode, it shifts on to the little boy's older brother.
Yeah.
And that's where the story just completely changed, because it goes through like the Warren of these people that are helping and looking after. And he goes, let me tell you a story about how it went down. And he basically says, so when the Warrens come in, they had the little boy in the room and they told the parents with the little boy in the room what to expect from the boy. So the boy, and he said, my brother's not stupid. So he picked up on that and start doing the things that the Warrens would tell him that would happen. Again, you can take that different ways, but the way that he says what got them is basically his mum and Lorraine Warren's it's got to sign a deal for the book rights and the rights to everything that thing, and said, oh, you'll get a percentage. They paid her £6,000 and they made over 3 million on the rights of it. And then when they start asking about the money, that's when the contact and everything cut off from the Warrens. And he said, Warrens had like proper fucked them over that way.
Charlatans.
Wow.
But
was that documentary? Sorry, like before I
yeah,
forget that.
The
Right.
devil. It took me ages to find the name of it. I was typing in everything to the
that
point where I was
though.
like, Paul, what's it called? I do believe the Perrin family, the Conjuring one, the Perrin family.
Yes.
I do. Ed and Lorraine Warren did play a huge part in that. It is genuine. Like they really did help that family. The family have confirmed it multiple times over, and in so many documentaries. But I just feel like they did just want to move on to the next bigger thing. What's the next big name? Oh my God, Amityville. Like, who gives a shit? I really fucking don't give two shits about Amityville.
I do still. Do you know what it is? It's because, like, obviously when I grew up with, some like My Little Pony stuff and like Disney and stuff, but it was always horror and it was always these crazy documentaries. So that's how I know, like, you know, the curse around the omen. Because I hyperfixated on it, and like I was told these stories and like watching the documentaries from like a young age. So to me, it's kind of like my comfort movies is horror, and like, yes, I still like Disney, but I just love them still, and I'm still like refusing to believe that it doesn't exist. Like, that it's not true.
And no one should ever try and take that away from you as well, though. That's the thing.
No, I totally agree. If that's
just me, though. Just, yeah, I like to try.
And you continue being you. I love you.
But coming back to like the ghost stories element side of it, has anyone got any local ghost stories of like people like tales that was told when they grew up and stuff like that?
I love a
Mary Ann
local
Cotton was
story.
gonna come
Mary
get us a
Ann
few
Cotton
times.
was actually married into my family. She married one of my family members.
Oh, and he got away with the teapot. He didn't get offered a cup of tea.
He did not die, no.
No.
My granddad traced me lineage at the local library, and he was like,
So-
"Oh wow, did you know that like a distant cousin actually was with her?" And I was like, "No way, that's how, like, what a claim to fame."
So shall we be telling Coxie to watch out?
Yeah, he needs to be on his best behavior. But no, you know what? All of my actual ghost kind of happenings happened at a friend's house who lived in a house in an area. I don't want to dox anybody, so I'm trying to be really vague.
Yeah.
But like in the northeast, where she lived, is a very it was a very war-based village.
Mhm.
And the street was named after an army general.
Mhm.
And every time anything ever happened to me, it was always at her house. And I do genuinely believe that if there was a case for a haunted house, her house was definitely it.
Mm.
So a lot of the ghost tales I sort of researched were actually in that area, because I was like, I feel like if something's going to have happened, it has to have been on that street. So we like did loads of research and found out there were a lot of, like, you know, when you talk about Victorian
Yeah.
outfits and stuff, a lot of ghost sightings around that area were actually army veterans.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
With like hats and things, so like quite fascinating.
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah, that's it. There's like a lot of stuff like that, and then sort of, well, where I pretty much grew up with, like, me nana and me auntie, my granddad's house. I was there all the time. That house, I'm telling you, was haunted to fuck. Like, and like even still to this day, like me and my brother talk about it. And I've actually got, it was the haunted, I call it the haunted photo. I've actually got that in the house now, because he like, yeah. So he gave like a bunch of like, you know, like old photos. Some of the people I don't even know who they are, because they're from like my nana's side, like long distance, and they're really old photos. But this one particular photo is haunted. So like, there's a lot of stuff around other people's houses, but definitely my nana's house is haunted, and it was opposite a graveyard. So yeah.
Well, the street I'm talking about is opposite a graveyard too, so I don't know if we're talking about the same area. Maybe.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know.
Does it begin with a P?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I noticed the two SWATs of the in the stream.
Yeah.
Got the books out there. So, Phoenix, what book did you have there?
So I bought this book. It is called Stories of the Occult by James King. And I bought this just for this stream, actually.
All right.
And I was having see, I've still got the surprise sticker on it and everything. It's £4.
Bless you. I'll send you the £4.
And there is a short story in here. So and they're a bit more, they're not sort of scary stories, they're more sort of factual stories. And there's a story in here called Grim Up North.
All right.
Oh, how fitting.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you'll have to excuse my, because I'm dyslexic, my ability to read out loud is a bit wobbly at times. So I'll try my best.
You'll do well.
So here we go. The story goes like this. One day, a group of villagers in the North Yorkshire, England, decided to build a bridge. Unfortunately, their chosen spot was continuously battered by floodwaters, and no bridge they could build could withstand them. The devil appeared and promised that he would erect one in exchange for one soul, belonging to whoever crossed the bridge first. The villagers agreed and watched as the devil constructed the bridge quickly. The floodwaters were weak against the robust. There we go. That's the dyslexia. Babe.
Oh, I do exactly the same, because I'm dyslexic and I'm like,
Edifice.
Edifice. Who uses the word edifice?
I
that is
I couldn't have said that.
Nah, no.
So, edifice. You see my powers, said the devil, and demanded his prize. The villagers could not decide who should make the first trip. The devil became impatient and threatened to destroy the bridge as fast as he'd made it. Then one villager with his faithful dog Grim stepped forward and said that as sad as it is, as it made him, he would make the terrible sacrifice. He walked to the edge of the bridge and then suddenly dove into the water, swimming to the other side of the river. and climbed out to the other side of the bridge. You see, devil, he said, I hereby make the terrible sacrifice. He then called for Grim, who ran across the bridge and whose soul became the devil's. It is not known if the devil kept the dog or if it just stamped his foot and disappeared. So hang on. But it is not the last we hear of Grim in the world of demons. In some English villages, it was deemed vital to bury a dog alive under the stones
No.
of the church to guard the dead from thieves, witches, and even the devil. These are churches of Grim, perhaps named after the brave dog who sacrificed on the bridge.
Oh,
That
cool
is
job.
fucking grim.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
Live
literally.
up to the name.
There is a bit more, but I thought that was a good place to stop.
No, just sad about dogs now.
Wow.
Well, yeah, now
I
I'm going to
know,
cry.
it made me very sad.
And you're going to hug a dog.
I
I'm
was
gonna
really
shout
like,
for
I don't
Lulu.
know if I want to read this because
Foxy, can
I
you bring
don't
the dog
like
up?
the dog. No, fuck the person, keep the dog.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But, I didn't know if any of you guys had ever heard of that.
No, I never heard that
No.
one.
never.
No.
Oh,
No.
I haven't. No.
Grim up north.
No.
It
But
is
yeah,
grim up now.
you do hear of, the black dog, don't you?
Yes,
The
and the
whole-
mirrors
Yeah,
and
I've
stuff
heard
like
of
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently
What
that's where it's from.
What about you, Sarah? You had a book there as well. Haunted Histories of Sunderland, was it?
Sarah.
Scary.
Oh, these are some of my favorite books to go back and read every so often. So I've got like a Haunted Sunderland one, Ghosts of Tyne and Weir,
All right.
and Haunted
Have we got enough
Wearside.
ghosts? Have we got enough
Ooh.
ghosts?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, I've got one for you as well.
Hit villages
Well,
as well, man.
The Ghosts
Mm.
Ghosts of Tyne and Weir is actually the thickest one, and like it literally goes through the villages, and the
Oh my
surrounding
god,
area.
really?
Like some of them are street by street. There's like
Is there
Oh,
an Easington
wow.
colliery one in there? Because there was a colliery disaster that happened, that absolutely annihilated the miners.
there probably will, because I mean it goes from like it goes up Whitburn, it goes to Washington, it goes to I mean the spooky books of Southwick is one.
To be fair, Southwick's a scary place by itself.
That-
So that
Southwick's
game's
a very scary
terrifying, I'm not
place.
going to lie.
Yeah.
But yes.
But yeah, like the Golden Lion in Seaham and
I've heard of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Harrington House.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
where I'm from.
There's like specific ones in Zealand Terrace and Roker and stuff like that. And
That's mint. That. Where did you find it?
I just find them online.
Oh.
She
I need to get the
is,
list off you because I'm really interested in them.
she's
like-
a librarian now.
These ones, like they've got ones for like all sorts of places around the country.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love
Funny
I
enough,
love the
Local
local
horror.
stories.
I did pick up a book from actually a member of the Nerdy Up North group. He is actually a member. He's called Rob Kilburn.
Rob, I love Rob's as well. Rob's
Um,
have got some great
He done
stories in.
Tyne and Weird. So it's got
Oh,
loads of weird stories
amazing.
about all the murders, all the hauntings, everything that happened in the northeast. But I'll read a little bit as well. So I'll like say,
We're getting
so-
extra.
Story
And me and
Story
Sonny,
time
the only
with
ones who
Paul.
didn't bring books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like looking around like,
Have I got nothing?
oh,
I
my
love
jobs are
Rob's
all my
books as
books are
well, 'cause
about
they're-
therapy.
What was
They're
that
not
thing?
just spooky.
Ah,
Yeah, because Rob's books have got like things in like when famous people come to the area, like when Houdini came to Sunderland and things like that.
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
I need this book.
and you can buy it on
There's two of them
Etsy
now.
now. There's a second one, but that's not as spooky. It's just called Tyne and Weird Book 2. But yes.
See, this is just a morbid curiosities, but it kind of fits the theme. It's got like just like collections and things
Yeah.
like that. So it's like, ooh, hang on.
Oh,
Of course, it
actually,
matches the room. So I don't know if you can see that. I kind of.
Mm.
So it's just
I
got
might-
like random stuff in, like collectors and weird macabre
I
stuff.
might
It's a
ask for
really
some-
good book, though.
I might ask for some pictures off you because I need some
I
inspiration.
bet
but
you'll be
I'll
asking
talk
for
about that
pictures
later.
of her, so that's fine.
But
Well, yes, it's as someone's already said in the chat, it's story time up north now. So yes, so a little story about the Card Lad of Hilton. So
Oh man,
Oh,
Paul.
the cl-
perhaps Sunderland's most famous ghost story. Sorry, it's all dark now. This tale is believed to have taken place between the 16th and 17th centuries. Like many infamous local legends, These are different versions out there with minor details changes depending on who tell it, but the version described below holds many of the key details that the majority have in common. Okay, so this is the most famous ghost in Sunderland, apparently.
Is it the Clad Lad?
The
Card.
Card Lad of Hilton.
The
So,
card
Lad.
lad.
yeah. So Robert Skelton was a young stable boy employed at the castle of Baron Hilton, which is literally just down the road from your house. At the time these events are said to have taken place, working in those close proximity with the Baron's daughter. There's always a Baron's daughter, isn't there?
Right, always.
The two began courting, as they used to say. Does that mean fucking or just
Yeah,
it.
dating.
Yeah.
Does that mean fucking?
in secret due to the different state and society? Ooh, Mrs. When the Baron found out, he was said to have been flown into such a rage, in murdering the stable boy with a pitchfork and dumping his body
Jesus.
deep down a dark well, where the details often differ on the reasons, with some believing the boy was murdered because he did not prep his master's horse properly. Like
What a twat.
the sheer gall of it. But yes, so let's have a look. Try and get back at it. So several months later, the body was fished out from the well, so that would have stunk. And the Baron put on trial for Robert's murder. He was acquitted thanks to the old farm hand providing an alibi, so he got off for murder as well.
What a bastard.
Soon after this, strange things began happening around the castle, such as chamber pots being emptied onto the floor and kitchens being made a mess, despite having been tidied when everyone had gone to bed. One dark night, the cook stayed awake to catch the culprit, only to witness a naked boy crying out, "I'm called."
I'm cowed.
I'm called.
I'm card.
So yes, so if you go to the Hilton Castle, there's a little stately boy running around naked, shouting he's cold.
Well, Paul, that was one of the stories that I had to tell.
All right, I'm
sorry.
I've got one of aside from the court and the Baron's daughter, and the not prepping the horse. I've got that he liked to run off and take naps during the day, so shirking off his duty.
All right.
And
so
that was
Sammy
one of
would
the
be
reasons
fucked
as well.
Aye.
I've also,
Pitchforked and everything.
I've also got how one of the cooks actually stopped the card lad by leaving a cloak out for him.
All right. Is that why you've got your
So he
cloak on
wasn't
tonight?
card anymore.
So he wasn't card anymore.
Right.
So she stayed up and heard him say, "Here's a cloak and here's a hood. The card lad of Hilton will do no more good." And he was rarely seen after that. But there are still people. Yeah, there are still people who have claimed to seen him since. And there was even a story of Skelton used to go down to the River Weir and work a ferry before there was bridges.
All right.
This is after he died. He was the ferryman and would take people out on the ferry and then disappear halfway across the river, leaving people stranded.
Ah.
What an arsehole.
I know.
Yeah. Wow.
But, I mean,
can we just go back to the pitchfork a minute? He's a child, right? And in
I think he was a young man.
But you're only getting one prong in there, aren't you? Like,
well, 3 depends. Like, say he's probably.
I mean, 3 in me, yes, and now I'm a fully grown adult. Like, you're getting 3 across there, but
yeah.
Oh, that way. Oh, actually, yeah, you could do it that way, I guess. Like that way. Yeah.
We need a demonstration, a live demonstration. We'll get a body and we'll start getting pitchforks.
I'm thinking of logistics of a pitchfork.
There's a scene in Halloween 3, I think it is, where 2 people are having sex in a barn and the pitchfork goes through both of them.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, or is that 4?
It was 4 because that
potentially 4.
3 was Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch,
the better Halloween movie that everyone
the
hates.
best movie ever. Yeah.
When we first moved in here, so obviously we moved in June, and we've been doing the place up, and you know when you have one of those moments where you're like, logic kicks and you go, I know it's not, but what if?
Yeah.
So I came home and Chris was like, babe. I was like, yeah. He's like, can you look at something in the garage for me? I was like, okay. He's like, I know it's not, but there's something weird in one of the holes in the garage wall. And I'm a little bit afraid it might be like a skull.
Oh my.
No friggin' way I'm going to check.
That sounds like
Was
the
it?
worst glory hole ever.
Weird stuff.
Mhm.
Look at it. I was like, yeah, right then. I go into the garage and I kind of already knew what he was on about.
Mhm.
And essentially what had happened is there was this massive hole in the wall,
Mhm.
and somebody had tried to stuff it with wire wool.
Right.
And of course the wire wool had then rusted.
Right.
So it looked like brittle brown hair.
Mhm.
But I just grabbed a screwdriver and went, what's this?
So it could have been a skull, but you went at it with a screwdriver, and that would have.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was you haunted for life.
To Chris, that was like, it would be great if it was a skull, not for the person who died,
Mhm.
but once they got the crime scenes investigators in there, they would then have to put things. They have to fix things afterwards. They've been into a crime scene if it's in a
That's
house.
right, free work.
Yeah, free work. I was like, I'm hoping it's a skull because then they can do the garage for us.
That's amazing.
Going full Brookside, thinking someone was under the patio.
Oh, my sister found it. My sister-in-law found I think she's actually listening as well. She found like a thing underneath the house.
Right.
So like a door going underneath her house.
Ooh, I love stuff
yeah.
like that.
Well, we thought it was like going to be at like what could be under there? What could be under the house? Fucking newspaper. That's what was under the house. A shit ton of newspaper and nothing else.
My mum's old hair and beauty salon in Leamington Spa. Now I'm sure if someone wouldn't mind Googling Leamington Spa Satanist.
Oh,
okay. Oh, hang on, I'm on it.
Let's
just take this.
But the basement under the property she was renting was the spa of this apparently well-known Satanist, and that's where his little cult was.
Let's not be dissing cults now, because cults are okay. It's fine.
It's fine as long as
you brushed that
Aleister
off.
Crowley.
You brushed that off so much. It's Aleister Crowley.
That's
the
quite
Satanist.
That's quite the famous name.
There we go.
So who's Aleister Crowley? I've never heard of him.
Aleister Crowley is I don't know if he's the creator of the Satanist Church, but he was definitely into sex magic and some really kind of fucked up things within, and Satanist Church was his thing. And oh my god, I cannot believe that Aleister Crowley was in Leamington Spa.
And there is a there was a hair salon, hair and beauty salon above the basement, because my mum looked at renting it several times, trying to expand the business, and the hairdressers refused to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you
That's
what,
where he's from.
I mean, I only got to look down the stairs because I was like, I want to go in, and my mum was like, no, it's horrible and it's disappointing. I was like, okay.
No, I don't think he created Satan. It says he was an English occultist, philosopher, criminology magician, poet, painter, novelist, and mountaineer. He was from Royal Leamington Spa. That's where his family, but yeah, he was into some weird things when it came to the occult. He's an interesting one to look into.
Oh, I'm going to do an episode on him soon.
I'll do an episode on Crowley.
But yeah, ironically, the salon was named Seraphim.
Oh.
After the six winged angels, maybe just to balance out the karma, or maybe I don't know.
Try and make it a bit better. Now, like we've talked a lot about scary places and spooky places, but I know Peaches, you kind of find yourself like centered and calm.
Sorry, I'm dissociating. I keep going in your little world. Sorry.
That's fine.
Don't you apologize?
I just like to say, because I know you like to do your photo shoots, but you also do like a lot of things in graveyards and stuff there. So what has been some of your favorite graveyards to visit?
Oh, that's a really hard question to ask a graveyard whore, to be honest. I mean, I think Highgate Cemetery is, I was talking about it earlier actually, it's just like so stunning. And St Cuthbert's in Edinburgh, also Greyfriars Kirkyard as well. I was literally there just the other week, and it was so nice because obviously with it being autumn, everything was all crispy death, orange, you know, like everything's dying and like
crispy death.
The crispy death. I call like crispy death. So it's like it was perfect, like the scenery. But I don't know if you have been to either of those, but I would recommend. I think they'd probably be my top 3 as of now. But I do have like a huge list. I really want to go to Bournemouth to see Mary Shelley. She's buried there. I think her husband, as well. There's so many more that I want to do, so I'm sure I'll come up with more favourites. But Highgate Cemetery, like I only got to do, because it's like east and west side, so I only managed to do, I think it was the west side, I think.
Is Highgate the one where I am a huge enthusiast of graveyards, and especially famous graveyards. Is Highgate the one where they are stacked upon each other? It's like so many in that they literally are stacked upon each other.
It's been like it's quite a famous location as well. There's famous people buried there. George Michael actually is buried there.
George Michael, him who played a trigger in Money Pills and Hot Horses, he's buried there. He's buried near George Michael. That's the only reason I remember it.
No, there's quite a few. Like honestly, I cannot remember off the top of my head, but there's quite a lot of like famous people buried there, and it's been used in a lot of film locations as well. Like, sorry, my brain's shutting down. Sorry, I think it's I think it was used on the Fantastic Beasts, I think.
All right.
I could see it. I could definitely see it.
Just with you, like I just said, because I know when you tell your story, like when you've told us stories in the past about the graveyards, you always like feel like you're at peace in them. Have you had any bad experiences in the graveyards, or?
Well, no, like I mean, yes, actually, remember the last podcast we did? We kind of went on a tangent, didn't we?
That was the 24-hour one, love. Yes.
So, what was it again? He's asked us if anything had happened, and it was when I went on Halloween, like to this one, and it was like on the bank, like a slope, and we took like a picnic and everything, and it was obviously pitch black and obviously nobody there because not many normal people would be in a graveyard on Halloween. So like we heard like it was like a thud, as if someone had like jumped out of a tree or something like that, like a heavy thud, and I just like looked and I was like, what was that? And then there was like 2, it looked like the Amityville, the original, like two red, it could have been lights, I don't know, but it just reminded us of an Amityville, like on the first original one where there's like 2 like red dots, like devil eyes, and I was like, yep, it's time to go. So that was pretty creepy, but to be honest, I feel like I was in one yesterday, actually, the graveyard.
Of course you were.
I was actually shooting my Lucy Westerner cosplay.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, like I spend time there, and I always feel at peace at them. I don't know if it's because of how I was brought up. Like I used to do picnics, and I've always been taught to respect them and stuff like that. I know some people are a bit funny about being in a graveyard.
Not at all.
I've always just found them peaceful and beautiful. And there's like lots of animals there. You get foxes, you get bees, and I'm very much a animal nature person. So I don't know if you like them, but I love them. So
I do. I am an absolute enthusiast when it comes to graveyards, because it's my YouTube search list. Don't look at it, because it's all just famous graveyards. I watch a program called Hollywood Graveyard, and I absolutely adore it. They've done a lot of American ones, but they've also done outside of America as well. Greyfriars is something, an experience I can't put into words, because I was so taken aback by the whole thing because of how unbelievably brilliant, like it was just amazing. And now that my mother finally knows I will be celebrating her 60th birthday in Paris. I am going to, yes. My mum turned 60 in November, and me and my sister
Hi,
are taking
Sammy's
her
mum.
to Paris next year.
Oh,
Yes. Hey, Mama. But yes, we finally told her tonight she's going to Paris next year. And I am going to the graveyard because I have done Paris a million times. I have never been to the graveyard where Oscar Wilde is and Edith Piaf is and Jim Morrison is. So I'm finally going to do it. And I'm
That's
so
amazing.
excited. I know,
got
I'm so
jealous,
excited.
Have you ever done the catacombs?
I was
Yes.
I
gonna
want
say
to go
that.
there.
Yeah, I did
That's
the
what
I did the
it's going to be.
catacombs the last time I was there.
It's I've heard it's amazing, but
I'm not going to lie, I wasn't in the best state of mind when I was there because I was so angry that I went with me family who are all artists, apart from like my mum, but the other two are artists, and all we did was art galleries, and I was up to fucking here. And
Art gallery, but that's the
literally
problem
arted
when you
out.
go with people. Like, I usually just tell people, because I know, like, obviously my thing isn't going to be the same as everyone else's. So I usually just say, if
I'm
I'm
too
doing your
polite,
head in,
Peaches.
which happens a lot, go and do your own thing, and like you go and see all the art galleries. I'll see the graveyards, and we can meet
I'd
back
rather
up.
just throw a hissy fit like I did,
Mm-hmm.
and totally not enjoy my time.
As we found out, like, say, doing this podcast in the past, I am the biggest wet blanket, like soft ass when it comes to scary stuff. I am incredibly claustrophobic, so I've like my wife, she wants to do the catacombs, but no way in hell are they getting me underground. So
how about you pay for me to go with your wife? And
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
we will
don't
go
feel
there.
like when I went down there, I don't feel like because I'm not claustrophobic, so and I don't know how far you could go, but I didn't feel like there was room to move. I could move, I could walk. I'm 5'9" and I have been for a very long time, and I didn't feel like I had to crouch or anything like that. It was really interesting, and I did enjoy it.
So
I was pissed off.
So we're getting a deal with Phoenix going on a date to Paris with my wife now. So
yeah,
I am as well. Let's just all go.
yeah. Actually,
Like,
you're
I
just
feel
paying
that's
for us
good.
all to go.
all right,
Well,
School trip.
fuck my credit card, but yeah. Saying that though, I, like the last time I did go to Paris, it was probably one of the most expensive holidays just because of how expensive Paris is. I know this is going to sound strange.
Not looking forward to that, Bill.
I spent more in 5 days in Paris than I spent in a week in Florida.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not looking forward to that, Bill.
And that
I'm
was just
really
on
not.
food,
But I
I
am
think.
looking forward to going to Paris.
Food though, but yes. So coming back to ghost stories as well, because I know we've pretty much touched on. Has anyone got any other like tales of the dark side that you want to share with us?
I've got
I've got
one
loads,
other.
but sorry, I was gonna say I'm like starting to like my brain just starts to shut down. You can see it's like windows turning off. So yeah.
That's fine. So no, it's fine.
I love it.
Bless her. No, that's fine. Like, just so we'll wrap up a little bit. But is there anyone
Well, go on then, Sonia.
Any
Oh,
stories?
yeah,
they want to
sorry.
tell? Yeah.
Again, friend's house. So I said before, like if there was a case for a haunted house, all of the happenings happened there. So one time I used to get ready with her for nights out, so I'd always be at her house. And sometimes we would sit and have a drink with our mum, and our mum would tell her own ghost stories because it was our mum's family home. So our mum had moved in, lived with her mum, and then her mum had passed away, and just one of those type of houses. So we'd been shopping in town, would come back to the house quite early for us. Like usually we would be there just for the evening. So because we'd gotten back during the day, our mum was out. And we were just sort of like, listening to music, telling boy stories, the typical girl stuff.
Yeah.
And then she'd said like, oh, I think I might have a nap before tonight. And I said like, oh yeah, like let's have a nap, which we used to do quite regularly. So we'd gone for a nap. I couldn't really sleep, and there was just the undeniable sound of the front door slamming shut, and they didn't have floor in it, was like bare wood. So like just the sound of shoes like coming up the stairs. And my friend shouted, "Mom," and there was no response. And she was like, "Mom," and there's no response. And she was like, "Put the kettle on, Mom, put the kettle on." And there was like no response. And then like she kind of turned over and looked at me, and she was like, "You heard me, Mum, come in, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, she's just run upstairs." And she was like, "Mom," and there was like no response. So she was like, "Oh, this is freaking us out." I mean, already she was like, "What's going on? I'm freaking out." So she got up. I got up with her. We sort of checked the landing. It was only a 2-bedroom house. Nobody upstairs. Shouted down the stairs, no response back. Went downstairs, nobody downstairs. Door fully shut. Our mum got back like an hour and a half or so later. She'd been at work. She hadn't been home. There was like,
oh my God.
There was like no explanation for that door. And I've told
That you
Coxie the
both
story
heard
before.
it.
Yes, I've told Coxie the story before. I said the fact that we were both there.
Yeah.
It's not like one of us has been half asleep and
Yeah.
heard it. Like we've both heard the same thing. And when our mum came home, we told our mum was like beside herself. She was like, "Oh my God, it's happening again!" Like,
Oh
Is
no.
it happening again?
yeah, like because stuff like that used to happen all the time at that house. It was so
Right.
bizarre.
Oh, cool. Like I say, I do like say that like it's always the stories where you can't you sort of say something but you don't know if you did, or there's a noise but you're trying to rationalize it in your head saying this is the reasons this happened, but it's like if you go through everything and you can't get that reason, that
Yeah.
always intrigues us and makes us
Yeah.
more interesting, I think.
I can't rationalize anything. I just instantly go to it's haunted.
Oh, I thought
Because
someone was breaking in. I was like, well, if it's not your mum, someone's in the house.
Where's me bat?
It's a ghost.
Bless. What about you girls? Any other spooky stories you want to share before we wrap up?
I mean, I can just flick through my book and find a story.
You've told the story about a dog. I think we've upset about that book.
Yeah, a lot of
Sorry,
people
I'm
have
still
tried to go
scarred
and
for
hug a
life.
dog.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about like ghost walks and that? Because I did quite an interesting one quite a long time ago in Sunderland.
Mm-hmm.
In Sunderland.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was over. God, when was it? It's over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something to do with like National Heritage Days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
and I
they
just
used to
kind
do them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was just this tiny little advert I'd seen in the Echo, which is our local paper. And we were, I mean, me, my partner, and my housemate at the time, we were expecting it to show up and it just be like the three of us and a little old man with a camera type of thing. But it was like 50, 60 people turned up to this thing.
Oh, wow.
And I don't even think that the guy that was doing the tour was expecting that either.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was really interesting because it took us around like it was the city centre mainly.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we were talked about Sid James at the Empire, and
Yeah.
there was
Oh,
the Grey
yeah.
Lady as well.
Everyone's got a grey lady though. That's the thing.
Everyone's got a
Everyone's
Grey Lady.
I'm
Grey
really
lady,
sorry.
blue
Like,
boy.
I've just seen some. I'm so sorry. I've just seen something float past the cabinet on Peach's camera, like something white. I don't know what it was.
Honestly, yeah.
Like something
This
just
is-
literally like
see,
clear as day.
See,
This is-
not the only one.
This is what I mean. People think I'm fucking full of shit.
No,
And, like,
something is
things
literally
like
just.
this.
We
Oh,
don't.
God.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sorry
it's
to
just,
interrupt, but like that was
no,
that was
it's,
undeniable.
Yeah, like
At least you did it on
does-
camera. I did it afterwards.
Yeah, like again, like I think we should maybe do like a part 2, like ghost stories, and I could maybe have some more like caffeine. It's not like
Oh,
strong.
I've always got time to do more stories like this.
Oh,
I
God,
actually,
yes.
but
I think that'd be
Sorry,
fun.
sorry,
Like,
Sarah. Though, sorry.
I've done a few ghost walks and ghost tours. Edinburgh's always a good one because it take you through a few graveyards. York one is interesting, but it's very much just down the shambles and looking around. The best one I've done is Dublin, the Dublin ghost
Okay.
tour. Like you get
Oh, wow.
talking around, you see the talk like where Bram Stoker got his ideas to write Dracula about the body snatching went on. How like near Oscar Wilde's statue you get strangled if you're there on a lawn. And like say Molly Malone, I think they tell the story of like the and a lot of things like that. But they also take you to the Hellfire Club, one of the big ones. It's gone now, but what used to be in Dublin. But that's quite an interesting one. But I'm doing a one this Halloween. Me and my wife's booked to stay over in York, and we're doing the York Halloween bus tour. But we're only doing it to go hunting for the little ghost figurines from the ghost shop. They're getting hidden around York.
Oh,
Honestly,
I love those.
Yes.
so
Oh,
fun.
Phoenix has run away now.
Like, I'm not jealous. Again, I'm not jealous of that at all. Because I was supposed to go to York at the start of this
yes.
month.
Yes.
I've got
It's got
little,
googly
ghost
eyes.
merchants. They're so cute, aren't they?
I love them.
I've got 3 of them, but they're in my living room.
I love the
Yeah,
googly
mine's
eyes.
in my living room as well.
My
Oh.
friend got it me as a moving in present, and she's like, "No, your house is haunted."
Oh, it's so cute.
My
It's the
husband doesn't
Ghostbuster
understand
I
them
wanted to
at
do
all.
though.
Yes. That's what we're doing. But
Yeah.
as you said, Peaches, I'm always up for doing more
Oh,
of these ghost talks as well.
absolutely.
It's
You
always
know
fun.
us.
But yes, I know we're getting on, and so just to say thank you for everyone who's tuned in. I know we
Yeah.
had a few technical issues at the start. I did work it out. Basically, with the new setup, it was basically putting the video quality higher than my internet could take.
Oh,
So-
right.
So that was the issue. So I've knocked down the quality by half, and it seems to have worked. But I've recorded the video as well, so I was smart enough because I've been worried about this all day with the new setup. So
Oh, bless you.
if there's been issues with the live, I do apologize, but I will be uploading the video as soon as we finished as well. So there'll be 2 versions. There'll be the live version and the recorded version. The recorded version shouldn't have any of the issues that we had at the start. So sorry if I was a bit quiet. I was literally panicking.
No,
going through
you're
every
all right. I
single
could see,
sentence.
I could see you went quiet, and I could see the chat saying there was a problem. And I was like, Zach Bacon, what a dick. So that's probably why it went on longer than what it should have. But
Yeah.
also for anyone who listens to audio version, it will be available on Monday.
Yes, and thank you, girls. Thank you for everyone who's joined in. Like I say, I know you're all becoming a little bit of regulars now, so hopefully things. I know this is our last episode for this. Well, not this is our official
No, not
last
technically.
spooky, because next week on the Sunday episode. Don't worry, I'll come to monsters in a minute, Sam. I know you're
No,
excited.
I know that we weren't really moving too far away next Sunday. I am not looking forward to. I'm loving the fact of who we've got on. Can't wait. Love spending time with that, but not looking forward to the subject matter. Not gonna lie.
We are reviewing the Terrifier movies.
Oh yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I've got to watch him again.
See, I love Art the Clown.
Yes,
I love the
Art,
actor. I think he's
amazing.
brilliant.
Mhm.
The first movie is the best. I think the second one, like, I don't know about you, but there's more gore. I like the makeup side of it, I suppose. Like, there's not really a storyline, but I mean, he doesn't really need one to see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that.
That'll be next Sunday.
Yeah.
We're talking all about the Terrorizer.
We're getting someone on who loves the Terrifier to tell us why we have to love the Terrifier. So me and Sammy's going to be indoctrinated into why we have to love this gore hound.
Hopefully she can do it, but I, at this moment in time, don't hold high hopes for her.
Yeah. And we do have another Halloween episode of the Nerdy Up. Well, not the Nerdy Up North podcast, sorry. The Monsters Up North podcast. Sam and Dan are back tomorrow night with an episode where they're talking about Sam Hain from Trick or Treat. So the little pumpkin-headed freak is going to be talked about tomorrow.
A big, massive deep dive into the Trick or Treat movie and talking about Sam as a character. It is very good. So yes, that's tomorrow at 7:00, Monsters.
Yes, and then we've got Trekking coming back on Friday. So Goodwill and Graham will be trying to talk about Trek, but normally going off on tangents about some wonderful weird.
Hey, if we're not having tangents, we're not doing a podcast, right? That's what I say to One Monsters every week.
Then I think November is the last month where we are doing random episodes. So from December, we are going to be doing themed. So Sam's getting away. We are doing a themed month in December of fantasy. So we'll be talking about Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Princess Bride, and One Piece, I believe.
Yeah,
I think we are doing it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But yes, I do have to watch The Princess Bride because I've never seen it.
Yes,
I've never seen it.
Oh, I love The Princess Bride.
Why am I
surprised? Why are you surprised? You know me.
But then I think January's month is going to be interesting for a lot of people because we are doing true crime and
January.
paranormal activity stuff. So we've talked about UFOs.
So there you go, Peaches.
Monsters.
Good.
We'll be talking about murders and everything as well. So we will be having like people back on. I know Sonia's going to be featuring heavily in December because she loves fantasy as well.
She is.
And I might turn up for the Lord of the Rings one, even though I might just go for a walk.
You might.
You fucking better.
But
Freaky
yes.
Frodo's going to be with us, so you better.
Freaky Frodo.
Freaky Frodo.
He's the unofficial mascot of December's fantasy theme.
Yes.
Love it.
But thank you, Peaches and Scream. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Sarah, even though you are heavily pregnant. Bless you.
Yes, bless your heart, Sarah, for joining us.
Yes, and thank you, Phoenix Spider, for joining us again. And Sonia, it's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Sonia. Love spending time with Sonia.
Love it.
So anything you want to promote before we do give up?
Yes. Take the time up, promote yourselves. What you got?
Yeah.
Just follow us on Twitch. I'm delicious.
I'm not gonna lie, she is. Delicious.
Phoenix, anything you want to promote?
Again, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, OnlyFans. I need the money. I've got a mortgage to pay. But yeah, type in Phoenix Spider and find me.
Yes. What about you, Peaches?
Do you know what it is? I literally can't think. You know, because it was a full moon last night. I hardly slept, so I'm like, yeah, like it's my
It was
so
the- it was
not
the
at the minute, I
Hunter's
don't
moon.
think.
You can catch her on Instagram.
Yeah, I mostly post on Instagram and TikTok, to be honest. I obviously did that Lucy Westerner cosplay. I was super proud of that because that was the one I was
amazing.
not telling you about.
Yes.
And
I was
Oh,
gonna-
was that one?
Yes.
I was going to say both of you have posted different vampire cosplayers today, but Phoenix was like I say quite a sexy vampire, and I was actually a little bit scared of Peaches one. I'm not going to lie.
Peaches is beautiful. That white was absolutely stunning on you. I didn't realize it was that one. I thought you
Yeah.
meant for Love of Horror you were going to show us.
No, it was because obviously you know how I'm obviously mostly do like special effects and like it's based around makeup and things like that. It's the seamstress side of things. It was a bit of a challenge, shall we say, because I don't class myself as like a seamstress at all. Like I haven't got a fucking clue. But so when I put it together, I was like literally like so like happy because I've been wanting to do her for a long time. Like literal years, but I've always like avoided it. So yes, that was the one. And it was so
absolutely
fun.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Cool. So yes, so thank you guys. Thank you for joining us for our Halloween special. Again, I do apologise for the issues at the start. I promise in the future I'll get me shit together. But same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.